So, 6 Palestinians escaped a maximum security Israeli prison. Okay, the prison is called Gilboa, and this has caused a huge embarrassment for the Israelis. As you can see in the thumbnail, I used a picture of the cast from Prison Break, right, with a Palestinian flag behind them. A lot of people have been doing memes with Shawshank Redemption, which is another film about prison life and escaping prison, and drawing similarities between that and what just happened, right? So let's take a look at this, because this really is an incredible story, right? They basically tunneled out of their cell with a spoon, a rusty goddamn spoon. So you had 6 of these Palestinians in one cell, okay? I'm not going to show you their names or faces, just for the 0.0001% chance that it would hinder their escape in any way, okay? But I will tell you what they're in for and how long they're in for. So one of them is in there since 2003, life sentence. Another one is in there since 2002, life sentence. Another one is in there since 1996. That's almost as long as I've been alive, man. Life sentence. Another one is in there since 2019. Since 2019, he's awaiting trial. Remember? So he hasn't even been convicted of a crime yet. He's been in there 2 years just waiting for the trial. You know the Israelis, they can keep you in administrative detention, which I think it varies. Hold on, what was it? 3 months or 6 months, but they can keep renewing it indefinitely, right? So we used to talk about Al-Akhras, who was another political prisoner, a Palestinian man, how they were keeping him in jail, and he went on hunger strike. He's not convicted of a crime. He wasn't even charged with anything. He's just on administrative detention is what they call it, right? So terrible stuff. Another one of these prisoners, also in prison since 2019, awaiting trial. 2 years awaiting trial. Another one, incarcerated since 2006, life sentence. Now, it's reported that one of them was a commander in a group linked to Fatah, and the other 5 were members of Islamic Jihad in Palestine, okay? And I want to show you, I posted about this within an hour of the escape happening, right? So, of the escape being reported, excuse me, because what happened is they escaped at around 4 a.m. GMT, okay? So that I think that was about 1 a.m. in Palestine, right? So 4 a.m. GMT, they had escaped, and it took them several hours till they even found out that the prisoners were gone. And I posted about it here, and I want to show you this video of the tunnel, okay? So this is really just, this is incredible. Take a look at this, okay? This is the Israelis examining the tunnel afterwards.
Oops.
Okay, so you see what happened? They tunneled out through the sink. Okay, they tunneled out through the sink. Here's a headline from BBC. Okay, excuse me, my voice is cracking a bit. The prison, Gilboa prison, is a high security facility known as the Safe. Yeah, well, it don't seem like much of a safe anymore, you know? And they're saying that in other headlines, let me just show you some other headlines, okay? This one from the Times says jihadists dig their way out of jail with a rusty spoon, okay? And if you read this one from Reuters, it says 6 Palestinian militants escape from high security Israeli prison. You know, I find this choice of word very interesting, right? Let's imagine this happened in the US, okay? The headline would read, 6 men have escaped from such and such prison. They wouldn't say 6 militants, 6 murderers, right? 6, Wall Street bastards escaped from prison. They would just say 6 men. But here they all put this word militant or jihadist or terrorist inside of the headline, right? To condition you. Like, oh, these people are dangerous. Oh my God, they're bad. They're baddies, right? Do you see? It's very subtle, but they do this all the time, right? So militant in this case is just another way of saying someone who resists armed occupation, which again, I must remind you, because the mainstream media has done such a good job at brainwashing people. It's your right anywhere in the world under international law to resist armed occupation. That's not me saying that. That's what international law says. You have the right to resist military occupation, foreign military occupation by any means necessary, right? So that's what they mean when they say militant. They mean someone who resisted Israeli occupation of their land, illegal Israeli occupation of their land. Now, where they escaped, okay? And by the way, when we say escape, I just want to say one thing, because someone on El Mayadeen, an Arabic news channel, commented on this, and he said he said they didn't escape. The prisoners didn't escape. What they did is on their own land, they dug a tunnel and then came out on the other side again on their own land. I like the way he put that, right? Because it's very succinct. But if you look here, okay, this is where the prison is, okay? So it's 14 kilometers, just 14 kilometers to the West Bank over here, Daf al-Gharbi, okay? And also very close to Jordan, as you can see, right? 14 kilometers, I mean, that's nothing really, if we're being honest. I mean, just a regular human. Just a regular human. You can easily walk 14 kilometers in less than a day. But these guys on adrenaline, they probably did that in an hour. I don't know. I'm just speculating. My point here is that they're long gone. You know, the Israelis are doing manhunts and everything. And look at this. This is really... Here's a headline from Jerusalem Post. The Israeli occupation forces searching for escaped prisoners east of Jenin, right? And here's what they've also been doing. This from BBC. Israeli troops make arrests over Palestinian prison break. Do you want to take a guess who they're arresting? Just take a guess who they've arrested. Not the prisoners. No, their families, right? Which is, of course, what any democracy would do, right? When the Israelis say, we are the only democracy in the Middle East, right? This is what you do. You go and arrest people who are innocent, right? And you put them in jail for your own failures. I mean, to begin with, the 6 men who escaped are also innocent. They haven't committed a crime, right? They're resisting armed occupation. That's their right under international law. I'm not saying that. That's what international law says. If you have a disagreement with it, you can go and talk to the authors of the Geneva Convention, the UN Charter, and so forth. So they've started arresting their families, right? Again, they've arrested 6 family members, okay? The brothers, the father, they even arrested a doctor. And you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of last year when the Israelis, their so-called border police, again, this is ridiculous to call them border police because Israel is not a country and doesn't have any borders. The Israelis killed Iyad Hala, who is a 32-year-old man who is, he was autistic and he was on his way to his school. He went to a special needs school in Jerusalem. And they killed him near Lions Gate. They killed him is the wrong word. They executed him because when you kill someone, it's a bit vague. Was it with a car, with a gun? No. They came to him at point blank range and shot him in the chest. So that's an execution. And he was autistic. And after they did this, the Shin Bet, which is the Israeli, it's the equivalent of MI5, basically. It's their their internal security, right? Like the FBI, if you will. What they did is they went and raided his parents' house, because they just killed an autistic man who, according to his mother, his poor mother, man, you should have seen her crying, right? We covered this. Really heartbreaking. His mother said that he has the mental age of a 7-year-old or something, right? So he doesn't know what a gun is. They're accusing him of having a gun. There was no gun. He had gloves. He was holding gloves and he got scared and he ran. And so they just killed an autistic man. And because they're in the wrong, they have just no way they can get out of this. They raided his parents' house. Can you believe that? Trying to find something incriminating. He's autistic. This is the level to which they sink. And so here, once again, what do? They go and attack the family, right? It's this idea of collective punishment, which you always see. You always see in when they kill an autistic man, when they kill Iyad, here when the prisoners escape, always the Palestinians are wrong and they are right. Incredible, right? How this democracy, we are the only democracy in the Middle East, flies out the window all of a sudden. Yeah? So people have been celebrating because of this. Because, I mean, it is kind of funny. The Israelis, they always say that, oh, they're so smart. If you go and you watch, there's so many books and movies and TV shows. They show the Mossad and they show the Israelis as like these extremely competent people who are extraordinarily intelligent. They have the best security, the best spies. They're masters at everything. And then this happens. You got not just any prisoners from a maximum security prison. They escaped with a spoon. With a spoon, they dug a goddamn tunnel under the sink. This is incredible. So people have been celebrating because of that, right? You had people handing out candy over here. Let me show you this picture. These are the families of the escaped prisoners handing out sweets in Gaza, in Gaza, for the success of escaping from the Gilboa prison. For those of you who don't know, this is a tradition. In Arabic culture, when something good happens, you pass an exam, or someone in your family gets a promotion, you give out gifts, right? You take people to lunch, you do things like that. So this is what they're doing, right? They're celebrating. But then the bastards go and arrest them, of course. I don't know if the same person in this picture, but still the same families, they go and harass them, right? And prisoners, you can see here, inmates riot across prisons in Israel as manhunt for escaped prisoners continues. So they've been at this 2 days. No, actually more than 2 days, excuse me. When was this? Monday? We're Friday now, so 5 days, right? They've been at this. And you can see here, Palestinians riot in West Bank, Jerusalem in solidarity with Gilboa, with the prisoners. They've been holding vigils as well, right? Right, so they've been holding all of these, they've been holding vigils for them, and not just the ones who escaped, but the ones who are still in the prison, because when you think about it, I mean, virtually everyone in these prisons is a political prisoner. Frankly put, they're political prisoners, right? And the Israeli prison conditions are just horrendous. You can see just last week there was a pregnant Palestinian woman, who was going to give birth in an Israeli jail. And it's by a miracle, because of public support, because worldwide people were like, what the hell is this? It's only by a miracle that she was released. But there are many Palestinian women who've already given birth in jail. They handcuff them to the bed. I mean, it's disgusting, And like I said, this administrative detention, this where they hold you without any trial, is 6 months. They can just hold you indefinitely without charge, without trial. Democracy, right? I love it, right? It's like these anti-terror laws in the UK and all this shit after 9/11. Oh, we're democracies, but we can hold you for like 2 days without trial. We can, in Israel, of course, indefinitely. Just, Patriot Act, just throw the shit out the window. Why not? And I want to show you this, this over here, right? This made me laugh just very quickly. This said over here from the Jerusalem Post, while initial reports suggested the men had tunneled out, Katy Perry, the commissioner of the Israel Prison Service. She's come a long way in her music career, hasn't she? I'm just kidding. It's not the same Katy Perry. It's not the same one. But you can see here they dug out with a rusty spoon, apparently, right? And what's incredible is that apparently, this is what Haaretz is saying, apparently the plan, the blueprint, when you make a building, the architects draw up a blueprint, a plan of the building. The blueprint for this prison was online. So the architecture firm, right, that made this, I'm going to show it to you right now. This is from Haaretz, right? Look at what they say. They say the blueprint of prison that 6 Palestinians fled was published online. And the floor plan was published online by the architecture firm that took part in the prison's construction, making it accessible to the public. So, I mean, I don't know what to think of this. There's a part of me that thinks this is damage control, because they're saying, oh, the guard who is above the tower fell asleep. He fell asleep, right? They even have like a detailed timeline. They know what time they escaped. They know what time the guard fell asleep, which is astonishing, right? They're saying the guard fell asleep. They're saying the architecture plan, the blueprint, was published online. Here's a snapshot of it, by the way. Take a look. Right? This is legitimate, right? This is from, it's one of the blueprints. It's one of the sketches of the blueprint. And the website of the architecture firm has been taken down. So I imagine the Shin Bet got in touch with the architecture firm and they made them take down the website. But it's still on Google, right? According to Haaretz. And another interesting thing is that this so-called flaw in the plumbing system, because the prisoners dug under the sink and they were somehow able to get into the plumbing, and then they got out and dug a tunnel, a hole out of the ground outside the prison, right? And they're saying now that someone tried to do this a few years ago to exploit this flaw within the plumbing system, but they failed. And so they're saying, oh, well, you know, this is an old flaw. It wasn't repaired. Okay. And they're saying also that because maybe other prisoners are doing the same thing now, that's why they evacuated the jail, right? Practically, they evacuated the jail. They bust all of the remaining prisoners inside of Gilboa and took them to other jails, just in case others were digging tunnels. And so part of me thinks that maybe they're saying this stuff to make it look like it's much more sinister. Oh, look, these Palestinians, they had a blueprint of the jail. It was online. You know, they knew about this flaw in the system because someone else tried it before and they exploited it. And they had someone waiting outside with a mobile phone maybe and a car. I think they're trying to do this to cover up its damage control because they look so stupid right now, right? It's much better to say that than going like, well, you know, we're idiots. We just didn't do the job properly. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a flaw which was exploited here. Yes, certainly. But I think to a certain degree, they are a bit arrogant. And this is what it cost them, you know? Because they're so confident in their ability. They're like, no way someone's going to escape from here. Yeah, well, this is the biggest prison break in 20 years, right? And I don't think they're going to catch them, alhamdulillah, you know? This happened Monday. We're Friday now, right? We're Friday the 10th. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, the 10th. And this happened on the 6th. The Jordanian border is a couple of miles away. The West Bank is 14 kilometers away. You can walk that. Anyone can walk that in less than a day, in a couple of hours, right? So I don't think they're going to find them. And do you know how they found out about the prison escape? They didn't do a roll call or a count. No, it turns out some locals notified them. So they're saying in some reports it was a taxi driver, you know, in others they're saying, oh, it was a farmer, right? Whatever. It was some locals basically, right, who notified them. I mean, this is incredible because that means the guards themselves didn't even know that there was a prison escape. Some locals had to tell the police, who then phoned the jail and told them, yo, you need to do a prison count. Maybe you got some people who escaped. I mean, what's going on here? And also, they say now that they have security footage of the escape. Okay. Why wasn't anyone watching? You know, like, there's so many things wrong with, like, the level of incompetence is incredible. The dogs didn't work. The cameras didn't work. What's going on here? I just want to read you what's going on here, right? These men who escaped, these 6 Palestinians, these bosses, they evaded 40 prison guards, okay? 3 watchtowers, 2 walls, 2 barbed wire fences, and a pack of sniffer dogs. I mean, this is astronomical levels of incompetence. It's truly astronomical. It's you know, it's something else. It's something else. And I have no clue how much of this is true, whether someone was actually outside with a car, because they say that they saw them escape, but they don't say that we had footage of a car. If they did, they would have said that maybe. I don't know. This is just speculation, right, from the Israelis. But nonetheless, this is a huge win for the resistance, okay? This is a huge win for the resistance. It's such an embarrassment for the Israelis, right? Because they're saying this is not just any prison, it's a maximum security prison, and they got it with a spoon, with a rusty spoon that they were hiding behind a poster, okay? I just want to read you a little bit more here, right? This is from the Jerusalem Post. They said the 6 escaped prisoners were sharing the same cell. 3 of the prisoners who managed to escape tried to escape from Israeli prisons before that, okay? I mean, number one, this is a stupid thing to do. Because if you just look at Allied prisoners of war in World War II, when you had repeat escapees, so prisoners who would try to escape all the time, you know what they did with those prisoners? They didn't go and put them back in other jails. They made a special prison just for the repeat escapees, right? Which actually backfired on them, because this was in Colditz Castle, right? Colditz Castle. It's a castle. And they went and they put all the worst attempted, the repeat escapees in that prison. It's the top secure prison. And it turns out the war ended by the time so the war ended before they were able to actually do it. But they were building a goddamn plane in the attic. I'm not kidding you. They were building a glider in the attic. That's how good these guys were, right? But here you can see that they're just taking all the repeat escapees who have now been successful and put them in this jail. I don't know. They shot themselves in the foot is what I'm trying to say, right? And so the Jerusalem Post is saying the prisoners spent several months working on their tunnel using a spoon, which they had kept hidden behind a poster in their cell. Again, with the posters, Shawshank Redemption, right? And they're saying also, just to give you the time, they're saying when prison staff carried out a head count at 1 GMT, so 1 a.m. GMT, they found 6 inmates were missing. Okay? CCTV cameras captured them leaving the tunnel at about 1:30 on Monday. But the alarm was only raised at 4. So you do the math. You do the math. Right? That's 2.5 hours. No one knows what's happening. I mean, this is really gross incompetence. And it really blows their whole narrative out the water, because, they try to portray themselves as extraordinarily competent. They're so good. They have the best everything. Really? They just made fools of y'all. But anyway, it's a huge win for the resistance. And, Godspeed to them. The Israelis are turning everything upside down, as we say in Arabic. They're turning the whole place upside down because they want to find these prisoners who caused them a huge embarrassment. So they're arresting the families. They put up checkpoints everywhere. They're trying to quell riots and everything. This is a huge embarrassment for them. And so the retribution will be large, right? This is what is the only downside of this. While it's great that they escaped, the only downside, is that the Israelis will engage in collective punishment, which is what they always do. As I just told you, one example was Iyad Halla, right? Iyad Halla from last year, heartbreaking. So, in any case, I think it's great. Pray for them, and I hope they don't get caught. Again, these men have done nothing wrong except resist armed foreign occupation, which is what any human being would do if a foreign invading army came to their land. This is a human thing to do, right? So, Godspeed to them, and I hope they will be safe. Allah ma'akum ya shabab.